A lot of fear in the markets, a lot of people thinking that we have no end in sight to this bear market that seems to be upon us right now. But in today's video, I'm going to cover why I think a rally could be just around the corner. So hit that like button and let's jump into it. All right, today we're going to look at the markets here. I think a rally could potentially be right around the corner here for us. I want to show you why in this video that I think a rally could be just around the corner. But keep in mind, this price on Bitcoin right now, right around $80,000, we'll take a look at the charts here, is holding. But I think that we could come down lower before we get that rally. Just so you guys are aware of this, we have Ethereum as of this recording right around $2,000. It did dip a little bit below $2,000. I'm expecting it to potentially come down lower as well before we get this rally. So if this rally happens, these could be some very good buying zones for people who may have some dry powder out there who are looking to potentially either get their dollar cost average down or to get into the market for people who never got into the market earlier on. So let's take a look at some things here with Bitcoin down about 15% on the 7-day, Ethereum down 20%, XRP down 27%, Solana down almost 30%, and Cardano down 33%. Now, as you guys know, Cardano and XRP had a little bit of a rally recently with the news of President Trump potentially putting them in the crypto reserve for the U.S. government. Now, that ended up not quite being what we had hoped it to be. We're hoping that they were going to actually declare that they're going to buy crypto. But the problem with that is they would have to use tax dollars to do that. So it would take an act of Congress in order for them to actually purchase any crypto for the strategic reserve. Now, their plans are right now, any crypto that they confiscate by people breaking the law or whatever, that they would just hold on to that and they would not sell it. And right now they have like 1% of the Bitcoin supply already. I think they have like 200,000 Bitcoin currently. But it is a good thing that they are going to do a strategic crypto reserve, but it's just not quite what we had thought it was going to be. And with all these tariffs and stuff that are going on in the market right now, with Trump going back and forth with these tariff wars with Canada and Mexico and China and so on, and now China's putting tariffs on Canada, I believe 100% tariffs on Canada they announced. So there's a real trade war going on right now, and that's really having a negative impact on these markets. But this is potentially a great buying opportunity because once these things get settled, we could see an extremely big recovery in the markets, especially if the Fed decides to lower interest rates later this year. So these could be some life-changing gains that could be ahead of us here. I want to talk about the rally in just a minute, but let's take a look at a few charts here first. So you can see the chart with Bitcoin now. If you watched my video from the other day, Bitcoin, if you look back here, it was at $15,000 back in this bear market here. If you could have bought back here, it would have been an excellent time to buy Bitcoin. Of course, you could have got like a 6x all the way up to 109,000 with it. But if you look at the supply of money, the liquidity index, basically there has been no new liquidity in the market since this $15,000 move. So all this money is basically people who are already in crypto, and for the most part, big investors like the financial institutions that have been buying Bitcoin and driving its price up. It's not really retail that's been driving this supposed bull market so far. Retail really has not come into the market yet because the money supply, the liquidity, is no more than what it was back in 2022 in this bear market. The same liquidity has been recycled through this market this whole time, and I'm very surprised that we got up to $109,000 with that. And with crappy interest rates, we had high interest rates, we had high inflation throughout this whole move up here pretty much, and now we're starting to see potentially the Fed maybe lowering some interest rates later this year. We'll have to see what they decide to do. But with the stock market having a little bit of a crash here recently and crypto markets crashing, we could see the Fed decide to finally lower interest rates. It might twist their arm once these markets start getting really questionable, because they're not going to want the markets to pay too hard for it. They're going to cave at some point and probably start introducing some liquidity into the market. China's already injecting liquidity in the market, and so are some other countries as well. And the global M2 money supply is actually going up over the course of the last few weeks. So all these factors coming into play could potentially show that we do have a bull run coming, and that it just isn't quite here yet. If we look at ETH here, we've broken this trend that we were on since like October of 2023. We've broken this trend, and now we're coming down. And it wouldn't surprise me if we get down to this $1,500 level. We may hold where we're at, so it doesn't mean we're going to come that low, but it just wouldn't surprise me if we lose all these gains from late 2023. I wouldn't think we'd go any lower than that unless we go into a true bear market, which I don't think is going to happen. I don't think we're going to be in a true bear market. If you look back in 2021, we had a really painful summer as well, and a lot of people thought that the cycle was over, and we had a lot of big dumps in the market. I mean, Bitcoin dumped like 50% from like 60 some thousand all the way down to like 30,000 in 2021. So that could happen again. So like right here, you know, we were up to 65,000. We dumped all the way down to 29,000 here with Bitcoin in the middle of that bull run. So this could happen. This could be what we're doing right now. We're dumping, and then we have a recovery later in the year once we have more liquidity. And if you look at the money supply liquidity cycle, it follows this chart. So I showed this in my last video if you guys are interested in looking at that. This is really interesting here. If you look at this black line, this is the M2 money supply. The global M2 money supply here is this black line, and this green and yellow lines is Bitcoin. You can see it correlates perfectly with it. There is a delay. Basically, there's like I think it's a 10-week delay between this correlation. So right now, here's the M2 money supply. It's picking up, and there's like a 10-week delay. So keep this in mind. Right now, you can see that the money supply dumped, and now it's picking back up to where Bitcoin was when it reached 108,000 here. So if this correlates like it's showing it's correlated previously here, you can see Bitcoin follows it pretty well. We could see a rally coming up here in the next 2 months potentially with Bitcoin. So keep that in mind. Obviously, this is not guaranteed, but based off from what it's done previously, Bitcoin has correlated with this M2 money supply, and the M2 money supply is increasing, so we could see an increase in Bitcoin's price as well. So I've talked about different charts before in crypto, and if you want to watch Mark Moss, this is a fantastic video he put out here a few days ago. You can just type in Mark Moss on YouTube here. He shows 5 different charts. I actually use a couple of these charts already, and he shows how the top of the cycle on none of these charts that usually that have pretty much nailed the top of the Bitcoin cycle previously, none of these 5 charts are showing that we're anywhere near the top of the market. So I agree with him completely on this. I don't think the bull run has really taken off yet, and I think the true parabolic phase of this bull run is yet to happen, and I think it would happen potentially by the end of this year. We'll see what happens. Obviously, no one has a crystal ball, but if you look at charts that have historically nailed the top of the cycle within a few days or within a few weeks, none of them are showing that we're anywhere near the top for the cycle, and you know, just kind of keep that in mind here. So what you could do right now when you're waiting for this market to pick up is, if you're able to dollar cost average into this market, and this is not financial advice, this is just what I would do personally if it were me. You guys have to judge your own risk tolerance and what you're willing to put into this market, because it is crypto and it's very volatile, and you know, this market could potentially go to zero. I think Bitcoin's probably the safest thing to be in right now, of course, but if you're like me and you're a DGen, you want to go into riskier plays in hopes that you make bigger returns. Now, I'm down a lot on my portfolio. I looked at it today. I think I'm down like 73% from the highs in December, which is absolutely terrible. You know, I should have probably taken out some more profits in December. I really didn't take out any profits. I just kept adding to my portfolio up until I think like October or so. Then I backed off adding to my portfolio on a lot of coins because the prices were going up, and I don't like buying when the prices are moving up. I like buying when the prices are crashing, like right now. I think that's the best time to buy. So, you know, I should have taken out more profits, but you just don't know. Typically after the halving, the crypto markets continue to go up throughout, you know, the spring of the year after the halving, and right now they're not doing that. We've just been dumping, so it's been a very strange market. So hindsight is 2020. I should have taken out a lot of profits back in December. I didn't, and now I'm paying for it, and I can guarantee you if we do get this recovery, I will be heavily taking out profits, probably well before a lot of my price targets, but I'll still leave some in case we do reach those price targets, but need to hedge my portfolio if we get a recovery here and get my investments out, so I'm not sitting in the position that I'm in currently. But I will be sharing with you guys on YouTube here what I'm doing as I do it, as we, you know, continue throughout this year here. Things could be very bloody here over the next month or two. I would expect that typically summer is not very good for crypto, so that's the thing that makes me worry a little bit, that we're in March and we're already seeing pretty much a bear market, and things could continue to dump, but the M2 money supply is showing that a recovery could be around the corner. Let's hope for that and see, but it's not guaranteed, of course. You know, a lot of people sell in May and go away. We're not even to April yet, so that's kind of what is, holding me back on buying a lot of coins right now, other than not having funds available. But, it is what it is. I'm going to dollar cost average in little bits and pieces here, try to get my dollar cost average down, and then hope for a recovery over the next few months or potentially by the end of the year. And if we keep going down over the course of this summer, I'll continue to dollar cost average and hope for a recovery at the end of the year, and we'll see how it plays out. But you guys got to do what's best for you in your portfolio and your investments. Don't follow what I'm doing, because I could be completely wrong. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just going off from what the charts are showing me and what's happened potentially in the past with the Bitcoin cycles. All these indicators showing that we're not at the top yet, that a top is yet to come. So hopefully that is the case. But that's pretty much what I got for this video, guys. I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel, hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and we'll see you on the next video.